SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold, and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a quick look at the market, shall we? So we established, which is still in play, that Bitcoin's got its 4-hourly trend continuation in play, so there's nothing more to say about that. Trend looks good, honestly, it does look good. I would expect further upside on this chart. Basically what we're looking at is your continuation of a trend signal generated from the cross here, and so long as we're above this 200 exponential on the 4-hourly, which currently comes in around 19,886. Again, it's going to start uptrending and it's on its own soon. We're currently even getting support on this 10 exponential, but basically anywhere above this box is still good. Even in the box is still quite good. If we start closing sort of deeper and below the box, I'd start to get a little scared. The main thing is we need to make sure this cheeky spend doesn't touch the price action at any point, because that would be that this trend has already come to an end. But so far so good, looks okay. So today, similar to yesterday, I'm kind of looking for a little bit of sidewaysy kind of choppy range, and so instead we're going to start to look at what could actually force this down. It's obviously going to be the traditional market side of things. We're going to look at Forex and the S&P. So the S&P bouncing from the most obvious place in the whole world, your 200 simple moving average, and moving on towards what looks like probably is going to be an area of resistance to battle with, which is your 10 exponential on your weekly. So we're talking 33,870. Normally I would stop this video and start that again, because obviously I don't even know numbers anymore, but I'm not going to bother. You know what I'm talking about, 10 exponential over here, 3,800, 3,900-ish area. So that's the S&P, and again, you know, it is the most obvious area for it to bounce from, and it's doing it. And that with Bitcoin looking so, well, I wouldn't say amazingly good, but in an uptrend which is confirmed, I would suggest that further upside is likely for Bitcoin. Maybe altcoins can be dragged along after that. Now, the two major things that we have to think about outside of crypto and indices and stocks is Forex, which has been driven by the pound and the euro and their negative effect on the Dixie. So the Dixie's being pulled back down a little bit now by these two, which again are extremely weak. We shouldn't expect anything special from them, to be honest. We really shouldn't, although the bounces from those areas that we've marked out last week have worked out pretty well. So basically we talked about 96 for the euro being major support, and 106 for 106 for the pound. Obviously, we dipped lower than that, but more or less this area was the area of support. Now, resistance is coming in around this level for the pound, which is about 115. Now, the pound can obviously get rejected from there and continue to go down. As the euro has still got further to go, I'd say maybe up to 1007, 1008. That's where I'd expect to see a rejection take place on here. Now, the pound will have an effect on the Dixie, but not as much as the euro would. So the euro does have further to go before it reaches its major rejection area, and that is going to cause probably see some more upside on the Dixie. Now, if you have a look at the Dixie at the moment, the major area for support is still just not quite been tagged as yet. We're talking 109.6, and if we do break down from there, which is a possibility, we're going to the 21 exponential, I would imagine, being roughly at the moment sitting around 107.2. So there is still further downside for the Dixie implied, based on the euro, not so much on the pound, but based mostly on the euro and the Dixie on its own. So this all favours further upside in the short term. Now, yesterday we were talking about how earnings are going to come through on Friday. I cannot imagine that they're going to be good for stocks. As we all know, everything points that to the fact that earnings are not going to be happy. Inflation, lack of consumers consuming due to inflation, and just profit margins because of inflation. So this inflation is still the main driver and the main problem with all of this. So we shouldn't expect earnings to come through in a favourable way. It'd be very surprising if they did. We shouldn't expect them to, and so that could easily just dump the market. That could be it. So upside on the TA's perspective seems reasonable to expect. I do expect continuation for Bitcoin and even for stocks, but leading up to Friday itself, probably not so much, and I'd be looking to limit any exposure, maybe even take some shorts potentially, but basically not be too exposed to the market for when Friday comes crawling along. But long story short, things do look good for continuation. Maybe today we have a little bit of a resting time, but the trend is still good for Bitcoin. So, you know, anyone who's in that trend or looking to scalp these ranges, which is probably the most appropriate way to do it, given the fact that we are looking for a dump on a fundamental level on Friday. Yeah, still looks good for, you know, playing around within this range with further upside to go. But again, you know, I call it the last pump before the dump, or the last pump before the crash. I still believe that to be the case, and we'll see what happens throughout this month. Now, obviously, I'm heavy in crypto, but when it comes to my fiat and my stable coins and stuff like that, I'm still unwilling to commit, particularly at these levels for new spot positions. I do expect we go lower. I just think that there's going to be some upside before we do that. And I've measured the risk to reward prior to all of this. You know, I've been sitting the market out since before September, just before September. I'm still more or less sitting it out when it comes to large purchases for spot. And the reason is that the risk to reward for me is not. It's not appropriate for major spot positions. Even though I expect further upside to go, you know, over the next few days, I think I'd rather just sit it out, because for me, I want to see. I honestly do think that we're going to get one pump before a dump, and then in that dump we can enjoy it. If for whatever reason we start to reclaim major areas on Bitcoin, and I mean super major areas, and they prove to be support, that would be great. So first of all, we are talking all the way up here on the daily. We have to get above 26,700, 28,000 on the daily. On the weekly, it's a little less than that, but it's still pretty high. 24,000 is your 200 weekly moving average. So there's a lot of areas to be reclaimed for me to start to be, I suppose, bullish on the long term and rule out the fact that this bear market is over. When it comes to its own cycle for Bitcoin, the bear market's not really supposed to be over between, I suppose, December. I'd say should have been in. The low should have been in by then. But yeah, I'm still happy to sort of wait it out. And even for Bitcoin, I'm not looking to buy any more Bitcoin. I've got quite enough of that stuff. That's usually, for me, for the most part, used as a trading pair anyway. So I've got enough of that, and I'm sure I'll be making more along the lines. For me, when a bear market is technically over, it's all about the altcoins for me, and I'll be stacking and staking as many as I can. All the ones that I've mentioned many times. I'm going to make more videos about which ones I'm going to do with a bit more in-depth as to the reasons why. But yeah, long story short, further upside probably until Friday, see what happens on Friday, and then, you know, maybe we dump and continue up for Bitcoin if the trend is still in play, which it very well might be. But again, for the moment, it's as simple as that. 4-hourly uptrend still in play. We should expect it to continue to play. Stocks look like they continue to move up. Euro wants to move up. Pound maybe getting a rejection. Dixie's still moving down. It still looks favourable to the markets for the rest of this week. Right, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.